council meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Bukowski? Here. Trustee Dover?
Here.
Guerrero is absent. Trustee Vaughn?
Here.
Trustee Capoli?
Here.
Trustee Hedges? Here. President Mason?
Here.
Treasurer Cook? Here.
Approval of the agenda. I have two changes to make. One for communications committee reports. I want to add an item B for fire department update from Chief Steer. And under new business, just want to do a shuffle. We'll have smart municipal credit as item A and just shift everything else down. Just so we don't have to hold Mr. White hostage for the entire meeting.
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
It's been approved and supported, or motioned and supported for the approval of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public comments on the agenda. Yes, sir.
My name is Keith Brash. I live at 59991 Haven Ridge. My wife and I have lived there for 41 years. I can count on the fingers of one hand. Matter of fact, I don't need all the fingers to count how many times my garbage hasn't been picked up. In the last 2.5 months, it has been picked up on 5 occasions. Since the Saturday after New Year's, all of the people north of Marvell and Haven Ridge, their garbage is still sitting in front of their houses. Now, it may not be common knowledge, but my property is the northern border of the village. Not the school, it's not Margot, it's my property line. I pay garbage fees, ever increasing amounts for these many years, and I expect as a citizen and a taxpayer to get the services I paid for. I had from your previous conversation, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I just wanted to express my discontent with the garbage people. And I have 25 years in Boy Scouts of America, 3 as a kid, 22 as an adult. I will be happy to take the people from priority and show them how to read a map if they don't know how. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Any other public comment on the agenda? Seeing none. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting minutes, December 10th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the regular meeting minutes from December 10th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills. Treasurer.
Approval of December 2024 payroll for $116,321.97. And then bills paid for December 2024 totaling $1,070,113.97, with a total of $1,186,435.94. The total cash assets for December are $8,988,457.39.
And if I remember correctly, I think Trustee Nona, you were asking about some of the numbers on here, and I do remember now. Wasn't was it the treasurer's report that we noticed was being reported incorrectly?
Yeah, it was a CD bill without
Yeah. So these numbers are more accurate.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve payment of December bills and payroll for a total of $1,186,435.94.
It's been moved and supported that we pay. Discussion on the motion.
There, a big item. There appears to have been a large item for December.
I'm sorry, what?
A large item, why is it?
They put the roads.
Okay, okay, I just want to make sure that I
Yeah.
just didn't see how it did break it out for me.
Yeah, we had two bills, one for
Okay.
16 and one for 500.
So the road that we approved last month,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the final payment. I mean, the final payment for one, initial payment for the other. Okay. Good. All right, it's been moved and supported that we pay our bills in the amount of $1,186,435.94. Roll call, please.
Trustee Mikowski?
Yes.
Trustee Natchen? Yes. Trustee Foley?
Yes.
Trustee Dora?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
yes,
President Weiss?
Yes.
Make a motion to file the treasurer's report for the cash assets for December.
Second.
It's been moved and supported that we receive and file the treasurer's report for December 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Communication and committee reports. Quick, what's that?
Agenda items for February are due by February 1st.
Item number B, fire department update. While Chief Steer comes up here, in talking with Chief Steer, I thought it would be nice to kind of get a more regular update of what's been going on in the fire department. They, have been pretty busy. I think last I heard yesterday it was over 30 calls, and it's only 14 days into the year. So, just thought it would be good to have some regular updates from the fire department.
Yeah, so I'm going to just kind of give you an overview of what's been going on, kind of a 2024 review of what happened over the last year. During last year, we were able to bring the ISO level down to a 4 in the village, which is a pretty good number for how small the department is and stuff like that. So we've really been working hard to be able to get back to the residents, so for them to hopefully have a little bit of a break on their insurance. We filled a position that's never been filled within the fire department before. It's called an EMSIC. We were able to go to school, get this individual certified at the state of Michigan, and now we're able to provide our own EMSCEs to every member of the department. Before, we were using computer software, computer programs, stuff like that, which nobody really wants to do. They like to meet in person and really have some hands-on stuff, and it gives us the ability to watch that person and mediate any type of problems they may have or questions they may have. We had one firefighter graduate from fire school. We had one firefighter graduate from MFR school. We started fire inspections in 2024 with the anticipation of getting through every one of them. I'm happy to say at least a first contact to all 116 commercial properties that we have here in the village. That we've made at least an initial contact. There's probably 4 or 5 that we're still trying to finish up for 2024. This will be an annual thing that we will continue to do year over year to make sure that the people that work here, that visit here, that live here, are all going to be safe with in regards to commercial properties. We continue to teach tactical emergency casualty care. We received a $20,000 Macomb County emergency management grant last year that we used all of that $20,000 to teach multiple agencies, multiple individuals. This tactical emergency casualty care is something that we've taken on, and it is active shooter type stuff, right? So we've got MCIs where maybe multiple patients. So we teach that. We use the Secret School over on 26 Mile Road as our school. There's no other better location and facility for us to use right now because it is a school. It's got multiple hallways, multiple rooms. We've partnered with the high school's medical careers, Merit Academies, soccer team, and I think even some of the sports team at the Naval High School that provide us 30 plus victims while we do these trainings. These these victims are imperative to our training. So it's not just reading or maybe doing something right. We have these actors and they come running at you. There's nothing more, you turn around the corner and you see all these people running at you, and it's very eye-opening. We've got some really good praises from a lot of the bigger departments within the county. Everybody is buying into this training, which is fortunately something that we have to do as it gets closer and closer to. So it's very good to be able to have these students help us. They are what really makes this training. We continue to teach CPR on a regular basis for any individual that require that type of training. A lot of nurses, a lot of medical staff. We do a babysitter CPR class. We do a non-certified CPR class, which is we call hands only. We just basically say, look, you don't remember anything that we teach you, or you don't remember anything about CPR, you get your hands on the chest and you just keep pushing until 911 arrives. We continue to teach Stop the Bleed, which is something we work with the school district with. That Stop the Bleed is along the lines of active assailants within schools, tourniquets, pressure dressings, and stuff like that. So we continue to work with the schools with their CPR programs, with high school students, that they must create or must have a CPR class before they graduate, which is awesome. We started doing that just before Christmas. We continue to submit grants for the fire department. I have to say that we've submitted multiple grants through FEMA for emergency management. That was a hazard mitigation plan where we put in for grant improvements for storm sewers, to bring the lift station above ground, and to provide generators to equipment that are buildings around here that are deemed to need a generator. We had a record year of calls. We did 848 calls for the 2024. We continue to chair an RTF committee within the Macomb County Fire Chiefs Association. This year is our 145th anniversary of operations since 1880. So that's awesome in itself for one of the older fire departments within the county. We continue to meet with the fire committee, the board here, and we are developing recruitment and retention plans that we hope to hopefully unveil here within this 2025 FY. All in all, everything's been going good. We've got a staff of 18 firefighters and EMTs right now, which is pretty good. We'd like to see those numbers go up a little bit more, but we continue to recruit as best as we can. And is there any questions about the department for myself?
For grants, about how many do you apply for and how many do you get? Like, what is the success rate?
So the big grants, right? So the grants for the fire trucks, grants for specific equipment that's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. We do that once a year. It's FEMA, called AFG grant, Assistance to Firefighters Grant. We do that once a year. It's open. Usually, they just closed it here in December, so we continue to write for the fire trucks and for equipment and stuff like that. Little smaller grants like Firehouse Subs and AAA and just little grants like that. Every once in a while we'll get one, but I think the big grant last year was through the Macomb County, and then the year before that was the Treasury grant, which we did work for, again, training on RTF and ECC equipment and stuff like that. So usually one substantial grant per year. Again, that's what our average is.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, a lot going on in the fire department, and, I get to hear about it every week during the department head meetings, but I thought it would be good to have Chief Steer come in and just give an update, especially with the fact of, you know, the record-breaking 848 calls last year. One of the things that we've really been talking through is, you know, we do have the nursing home facility that's talking about going in, probably starting to break ground this year. We have some concerns as far as what the call volume is going to be for that nursing home. So I just wanted to kind of start getting everybody kind of up to speed on what else going on in the fire department, just so.
Yeah, there's about 20 commercial properties within the village that pay no taxes. And out of those 20 are our largest call volume facilities. It equates to about just over 700,000 square feet of fire protection that we provide that, unfortunately, that are either a nonprofit or state or school ran. Seems, you know, it's quite a lot. It's about 40% out of the two commercial properties, 38% of it contributes to our call volume. So it is a lot. We are trying to come up with solutions, and hopefully we'll have some here probably in the next couple of months. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. All right, unfinished business. We were supposed to have representatives from Priority Waste on hand to talk to us about the recent or the latest and what their status is. Looks like they are absent. But like I have in my executive summary for the packet, you know, the biggest frustration, as Keith mentioned, and you know, we hear from residents, you know, it might not be a large number of houses that are getting missed, but it is still houses somewhere in the village getting missed week after week. And when it's, you know, rightfully so, when it's your own house that's getting missed, it's frustrating. So I think, you know, we definitely do owe it to come up with a solution of, you know, how do we keep Priority on task? Our contract doesn't have anything regarding fines or anything like that, but you know, if council is okay with it, I'd like to have Mr. Addis look into what solutions we can come up with as far as.
The first thing is you send them a letter. A garbage company that doesn't pick up all the garbage is not a garbage company. The contract's not for some garbage, it's not for most of the garbage, it's all the garbage. So if they fail to pick up all the garbage and they do it more than once or twice, they're in breach of contract.
We, in lieu of making payment to them, can we establish an escrow and pay to that?
After you first send them the letter,
Okay.
see what response we get. Then if we don't get a proper response or an appropriate response or one that's satisfactory, then we can indeed, my way of doing it, not every lawyer agrees, is I walk into circuit court and say, I want you to declare our rights, we want to put our money in another account. And when the court approves that, then no one can run. Okay? If we do it by ourselves, they can say, well, that's an overreaction, you just tried to set us up, or we have friends that want a garbage contract. No. We can be right up about it, we'll send you a letter, which I'll send certified, mail, we'll know when we get it. You gotta give them a chance to respond, that's the due process. And then after that, you know, you for lack of a better term, you know, you go to a whip. Say that's it. I would suggest that at some point, you're gonna have to look for a substitute. Because the worst thing in the world is you fire them and the garbage piles up. Now you have more than one person here, you have the whole community here.
Right. I was gonna ask that next.
That's my concern. Because there's not many bidders out there.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if it's a matter of us, you know, working with Lennox Township to say, hey, you know, technically the Village of New Haven is part of Lennox Township. Can we be encompassed by your current contract? Piggyback off of it or something like that. I don't know if that works.
Who do they use?
Waste management still doing.
Yeah, Waste Management still does theirs. I have heard a couple of people have given me other names of companies, but they all are small enough that I've never heard of them before. And whether or not they would be able to, you know, handle the village, I'm not sure. It's disappointing because when I heard that priority, you know, all the technology and everything like that, you guys know me, big nerd, I thought it was awesome, the cameras, you know, when I reached out to them before Christmas about missing 4 houses on Main Street, they came back, it took a few days, then they came back and said, well, our GPS system shows they drove down it. And I said, well, I don't care that they drove down it, they missed it. And then no response until I sent some emails to their chief operating officer and tried to light a fire under the butt. And then the lady replied and said she was on vacation, so that's why she never replied to my email. It's like, well, if we're having service issues and you go on vacation, somebody has to be there to back you up. So, yeah, I definitely think we owe it to, you know, our residents. I think we even owe it to our staff because they're having to field all these calls. I know I got one of the voicemails over the Christmas break forwarded to me that was pretty vulgar laden from a very upset.
More potty mouth than we do.
Yeah, yeah, that was somebody that was very upset about their waste being missed. So, you know, we got to come up with some sort of solution. If everybody's on board, I would like to ask Mr. Addis to draft a letter and send it done. Okay. Alrighty. Item number B, ordinance adoption for the International Fire Code, IFC 2021.
Would it be CDBG?
No, right,
Unfinished business, item B.
Oh, okay,
Do we have an ordinance number?
406.
406. So, I think, you know, we talked about this last month. This is just to bring us up to more recent International Fire Code for 2021.
I'll make a motion to move forward with adopting ordinance number 406, which is adopting the International Fire Code 2021.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we adopt ordinance number 406, an ordinance for the International Fire Code 2021. Roll call, please.
Trustee Bobkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbur? Trustee Noel, sorry.
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Prokoli?
Yes.
Trustee Cashel? President Weissman?
Yes. Was there a question on the motion? Trustee Prokoli?
No,
He can't find himself.
I'm lost right now.
I didn't know if that was, okay.
I didn't know how loud that was it?
Item number C, Visionaire. As you all remember, we had Visionaire come out to do some work for us at the community center, which did not go smoothly. Repeated calls, repeated visits, trying to get them to come out and fix the system. As you remember, we also, most of you probably remember, we did end up taking them to court to try to recoup some of our costs. Mr. Addis, I don't know if you want to.
There was a settlement conference held in front of Judge Servito, who has just now retired, but now his son, who was also Judge Servito, took over. Judge Servito at the settlement conference worked very hard on behalf of New Haven. And they made an offer of $5,000 to settle their failures. It's my very strong recommendation. You accept it. It will cost more to keep fighting it out. Put it back in the coffers and move on. And Judge Servito felt the same way.
So looking for a motion to, yes, sir.
I've gone back into my archives because this all took place, Visionaire came on board back in '22,
It's at least.
if I recall.
I think it was from a while ago.
And I guess, you know, it doesn't particularly matter, but it just, this is a company that council at the time approved after they had submitted requests for bids. That council got bids, because I remember sitting in the audience, and we bypassed the ones who actually submitted bids and went with this company who happened to be an acquaintance of a former trustee, if I recall. And never really, it's my understanding, they never came out to see the project and submitted their bid based on what the actual bids that had been submitted were. Okay. And now we gave them the bid, they didn't fulfill it. We had to bring in another company just recently, it's my understanding, to actually make it right. And what did that cost us?
I don't know off the top of my head the exact numbers, but they had to deal with significant amount of work to get it to work.
It was $5,000 to $7,000.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
To fix what the problem was.
And so now Visionaire is, so we're looking to settle with Visionaire for this $5,000.
We had asked for whatever the amount was for them to be.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was, it's enough.
The only part I don't remember is whether or not Visionaire was part of the bid or not.
They were not.
Yeah,
What
they
had
were.
happened
They were not.
Marcus had brought one or two quotes before council, and they wanted 3. So
That's
somebody went out and got a third vote that was less than everybody else, and we went with that one.
Less is not always best.
Yeah.
That's not always best, especially when you don't physically look at the work.
Right.
Because it's my understanding from everyone I've spoken with that they never came out to see the job. And when they eventually, no, I take that back, they did come out to see the job, but they only looked into the community center portion of the building, never looked into the pantry portion. Okay.
Any other discussion on motion?
We need to vote on that.
Yes.
Yeah, need a motion to,
So I'll make a motion to accept the $5,000 settlement from Visionaire.
Second.
it's been moved and supported that we accept the $5,000 settlement from Visionaire. Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Foley?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Hatcham?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes. Next up is the AEW architecture quote for the Lions Club. At the request of council, I did reach out. I actually reached out to multiple engineering firms. A few of them I couldn't get them to return my call. AEW though has been trying to get business from us for a while, so I reached out to them and brought them over to the Lions Club, had them walk through it and give us an estimate of what it would cost for them to do architectural services. They came up with this estimate of the $53,000. Now this is only one bid. I don't have multiple bids to compare against. In talking with Sir Med was saying, that spending the $53,000 for the architect to come in and draft up a plan just to then turn around and put it to bid, I don't know if it's money well spent. Sir Med, if you want to kind of opine on that a little bit more or build on that.
So yeah, look, council can do whatever council pleases, but normally if you're doing a remodeling for a building, you don't need somebody to draw it and then give it to the contractor. The contractor is going to do exactly what you want. If you want to publicly bid it, you either have somebody to draft it, or you invite the contractors, 3 contractors directly, and have them bid it directly. It's my understanding that this work is just a interior remodeling. There's no changes in the structure or the outside is bid separately or will be done separately. And then this is only one bid. So I can't direct the council what you should do. But these are my thoughts.
Yes, sir.
Pay me $53,000, I'll tell you what to do.
My only concern with this whole project is that we've never put what we wanted on paper. We have talked to a contractor, I forget the one of the company that gave us a name, I mean, the bid, but it's verbal requests. We should have, from the start, got together, there was a committee put in place, and put on paper the scope of the work. What do we want done? And then we could take that, physically take that and give it to contractors so they're all bidding on the same thing. Okay, right now, we're just telling him that I want this, but then I'm telling him that I want something totally different. And it's been my contention all along that we need to put it in writing, put it on paper, so that we're giving the same information to every potential contractor and let them bid on it. We don't need a project manager, we don't need an architect, we don't need none of these things. We just need to put our thoughts in writing so that we can submit it for bid to different contractors. And we can take those thoughts and put them on, what's the state website that we use? MIT. And let contractors submit bids based on the information that we have put on paper.
Well, I mean, so respectfully, I mean, we have put it on paper of what we want. That's what the one contractor gave us the bid based off of the quote. And when the committee did last meet at the community center, at the Lions Club, I think it was actually, you were one of them that brought up about having the architects come in and.
Because at the time, it was my understanding that what we wanted was not put on paper. And that has been my intention all along, that we need to put it in writing. What do we want done? You know, we want the ADA bathroom, we want the kitchen moved, we want this moved, we want a lot of things done, but we can't just verbalize them, we have to put them on paper.
Yeah.
So that everyone is bidding on the same scope of work.
How about what we do is set up a, I don't know if we want to just do it as a workshop. We all just, whoever wants to have input, we can workshop it here. We can write down, or we can do it at the Lions Club. We can actually then write out exactly what we're all agreeing to. And then we can go back to the one building and development contractor that gave us a quote. We'll need to get an updated quote, because I think his quote was for like 2023. And then we can get some other quotes, or put it on it, like you said, and we can get it to bid. I know, personally, I'd love to see us do something with the building that's been sitting unused for too long.
Well, that's been the thing since we bought it from day one, is like, we gotta do something with it, and it was never, it took, what, 2 years for the council to decide what they even wanted to do with the building? To officially say it. Everyone had an idea, we can do this and we can do that. From day one, when we purchased the property, that's how it's been, and this whole thing has been frustrating for me the entire time. We bought it in, what, 2020, 2021?
Something in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we're going on like 4 years now of hinting and hawing on this thing, and all the numbers I'm seeing, I'm almost to the point now, if we want a community center, we'll just build one. It's just.
Yeah, because
That would still cost us a lot of money though too, but.
You get a new building.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the money you're gonna be putting in for, what you're getting for the dollars.
one of the other questions that still hasn't been answered is it gonna be a potential village hall based on our lease in this building? Or is it gonna be a community center / village hall, because one or the other changes the work. If it's just gonna be a village hall, we don't have to have the fire suppression system, am I correct in that saying that? But if it's gonna be for rent, then we have to, so, even that part of the contract was what? $100,000. So it's, so we have to answer those questions. What's our intent there? What's the use of the building?
Wait, the cost of getting up to code, I didn't think we should purchase the property anyways, but if we did, the only monies I thought were worth it is we have to at least get it up to our code, because I have an issue telling everyone else, businesses and residents, you have to meet these standards, and then we don't. Like, that's not, so I was always up that we have to get it up to code, and then it took a long time to figure out what was not at code when we bought the building.
Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth, so what I'd like to do is, if everybody's good with it, we'll set up another workshop, we can go over there, we can put it in writing of what exactly we want to do, put the definition together, and then, you know, yeah, we can either throw it up on Mitten, or we can, you know, have the one contractor take another look at it, give us, I know Surmet said he had some other contractors that he had in mind that could do the job for us as well, so just like to see us get some movement on it. It's just we keep going back and forth on how to handle it.
That's, I think you should hold it over there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's new members who probably.
Absolutely, because I'd like to see it, before I'm not gonna
Yeah, no, I
make an opinion when I have no idea what it looks like.
Yeah, we can do that. So, do we want to go ahead and set the workshop date now, or do we want to do it via email? Maybe just everybody look at their calendars real quick. Or do we want to do it, we could even do it, oh, that'd be a whole other way. I was going to say we could do it before the February meeting, but if we could do it before then we could at least bring it to the February meeting to act on. Would January 28th work for everybody? Tuesday, January 28th?
Tuesdays work for me.
That'll be the fourth Tuesday of the month.
What time?
Do we want to do a little bit earlier? Do you want to do it at 7? Do you want to do 6? 6:30? Or 6 o'clock work for everybody?
I won't be here.
You want us to change it so you can?
No.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
You didn't know how I feel. Put the thoughts in writing.
Okay. All right, so let's do January 28th at 6 p.m.
I'll get it posted.
Okay, thank you. Okay. New business reshuffled to item A for SMART.
Good evening, Jeff White with Richmond Lennox EMS. Tonight I'm here with my hat on for public transportation and SMART. Annually, the board receives an agreement from SMART Bus that they approve, and a portion of that funding is used for operating the little shuttle buses that you see here in your community. They get used for a number of different reasons, but their primary use is getting people to medical appointments, especially used by the seniors and disabled. There's some other things we're able to do with them. I think we have a trip coming up where we take some community members down to a basketball game. We do some shuttle service out to the airport with them, but primarily what we do with them is get people to work. They can't otherwise drive, the doctor's appointments, kidney dialysis, and things of that nature. This year, the contract's a little late coming before you. That's no fault of this council. That's no fault of the local EMS. What had occurred this year was a number of communities that surround you and some much larger communities than New Haven and Lennox went to SMART and made an impassioned request to try to return more of the money that you pay to SMART back to your communities. Everybody in Macomb County, if you look at your tax bill, pays one bill to SMART. You get a fraction of that back. Here in this community, a portion of that that you receive back is
The community credits are $9,250.
The community credits are $9,250. So the mill that you spend, you get $9,250 back that you could spend on public transportation. And so some of your neighboring communities that a mill brings in a lot more money there are also getting only a fraction back. So they went to SMART and they said, we want more of our money. And there appeared to be some progress in that. And then as often, or sometimes after the negotiations, that progress seemed to evaporate. And we got very little increase. In fact, the total increase that was received this year for New Haven was $540. So because of that, a contract that should have been in front of you in April to start reimbursing us for our costs for doing the service is now in front of you in January. So for the last 6 months, we've been operating with all intents and purposes without funding until we can get this approved by council. I shared that with you partially to be able to say, hopefully you're going to see me again in April. Meaning we hope that next year we're back on the regular schedule of when these things come up. So if you see me again in just a few months having the same discussion, it's not forgetfulness. I didn't do it twice. It's just the way that the schedule for this has worked this year. So this year what we requested is that the EMS receive in funding from the Village of New Haven $5,709 in what they call municipal credits. Those actually come through the state. They're Act 51 dollars, which are gas tax dollars. Those haven't increased in as many years as I can remember, and we've been doing this since 1999 for the village. In the community credits, that's the money that comes out of the village. We're requesting $3,200. We took $240 of, I'm sorry, it was a $440, not $540 increase. We took $240. We left $200 back for the village in those for a total of $6,050. Those monies we left back for the village are monies that the village can use to basically provide charter type service. So if you want to go out and charter a bus to go somewhere that we don't, or that you want to put more riders on than what our buses hold, you can use that $6,050 in order to do that. I can tell you that last year was a very good year for usage here in the Village of New Haven, probably one of the largest increases I've ever seen here. In 2023, our rider total for a SMART was 1,118 riders. In 2024, our rider total was 1,857 riders. So we saw a fairly significant increase in rider use here in your community. And I suspect that number, as our communities age and people need more and more of this kind of service, will continue to go up. We can only hope that SMART will recognize that and come to the table actually with some meaningful increases. Because right now, the other bad news is, if I look at all the communities we serve, from Little Memphis to Richmond to New Haven, and even down to Chesterfield, we're turning away about 10% of the calls we get, system-wide. So in New Haven alone, that means I'm turning away 180 people. And I'm turning away 180 people because we've got a budget. And we're just like you. You know, we're owned by Richmond and Lennox Township for the newer board members, so we're a government entity. And once the money's spent, it's spent. We can't just keep spending money that we don't have. So we're hopeful that we'll continue to work, and your village president's been involved in some of those discussions with SMART to see if we can get some dollars back here. But for this year, which we're 6 months into, this is what we have to work with, and this is our request. And Mr. President, if it's appropriate, I'd be happy to answer questions if council might have.
Just for clarification, was it there was the two line items. One of them was services purchased from SMART for $3,200, services purchased from subcontractor at $6,050. The shuttle service that we do, charter and all that, that's the $3,200 or the
No,
$6,000?
that's the six. I'm sorry. Yes, I said that backwards, did I? So yes, the services from Richmond Lennox are the $60.50. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Looking quickly here, and then the $57.09 in municipal credits, with the services for the village being $3,200.
Okay. So it's an increase of $200 from last year.
Correct.
But it's the $3,200 is what we would be holding on to for the shuttle services.
5709?
5709, that one is the municipal credits that they get from the state.
From the state. So for our Parks and Rec,
You'd have $3,200 this year, you had $3,000 last year.
Yeah. Yep, that 32.
We have been able to do a little bit more work with Parks and Rec this year, I think. Like I say, being able to provide some evening vehicles that maybe you had used charters for in the past, or we can provide a couple of vehicles at night, where maybe you want to get 20 people to a basketball game, to the theater, whatever, we can do it. Our buses aren't quite as comfortable as the charters. I'm going to be really honest with you. They're kind of like an airport shuttle style bus, but they're reliable. They get people there and they get people back. And so we have had some luck being able to do that for you and saving some of the charter dollars by doing that. And those are a little easier to do at night for us than during the day. During the day, they're a little more challenging because so many people have doctor's appointments and need to get to work and so on during the day. Where at night, those vehicles are just sitting still. And if it's really only costing us a couple of drivers, we can build that into the budget.
Yeah, I did the last Pistons game that we went on, and I mean, the shuttles were great for that. So.
if I may, Bree was part of the Parks and Rec. Last year, we took, how many buses to Tiger Gates? 3, 4.
3. I want to say 3.
And are those the only events that we use the full-size buses? Do you
We
recall?
used them for Pistons game last year, but we've been relying more
Using
on.
the smaller ones.
Yeah, we also use Smart for an apple orchard trip for the
Okay.
seniors. They provided 2 buses
Okay.
during the day for that as well.
Which does make sense. Okay, so the larger buses were just for the Tiger game when we get 50 tickets.
We used the full-size charter last year, was it, for the Frankenmuth trip as well?
Okay.
Because it was a longer drive. And,
Yeah.
Smart's got a little bit touchier as an organization. I don't work for Smart, I work for the township that borders here. So, but they got a little bit touchier about us taking the shuttles outside the 3-county area that is Smart. So, Macomb, Oakland, Wayne County, they have some rules that really have kind of prohibited us from doing that. So we've gotten out of doing the Frankenmuth and other things. We used to do that once in a while. And we've had to back away from some of those things because of Smart's rules. And there's an area where you can use a charter if you so choose.
yeah.
What's the average cost for a big bus?
It's close to 1,000.
Yeah, I want to say about.
Yeah,
that's
right
right.
about that, like
That's what I was
1,000 to
thinking.
1,100, Lynette would probably,
Yeah, 895 and 1,200.
yeah.
So this 3,000 would, if we had the same number of, say, Tiger games,
Right.
then this 3,000, this 3,200 would come close to covering that expense unless there's a major increase from those carriers. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, using the Smart shuttles to go down to the Pistons games, I would imagine the same for the Tigers games. You know, they definitely work well. Just depends on how many tickets we get though to your point. I think for the Tigers games, for the Pistons games, we've only been getting like 20 tickets. 25. Yeah.
So the 2 shuttles handle that.
Yeah. Any other questions for Mr. White? Motion in order.
So in previous years, we had to do this by resolution. Didn't include the resolution in the packet, but I have it ready to go.
So Smart has, and things are ever changing at Smart. It's a very large bureaucracy. Generally speaking, if you can, I kind of handle all of it now for years. I'm a friend Barbara kind of person who used to be the guy that handled all this for it. But the short version is, if you just give me a copy of the signed contract and then your minutes, the minutes will suffice the resolution. So SMART is not requiring resolution. Some communities still choose to do it because it's their procedure and policy, and I'm not suggesting if it's your procedure and policy, then by all means do a resolution, but don't do one for SMART. Do it because it's your requirement. Rely on your minutes and send a contract.
Personally, I think we're okay with the contract, right? Having the resolution doesn't really give us anything special. Motion then in order to approve the contract with SMART for the municipal and community credit for fiscal year 2025.
No numbers in there?
Sorry?
You want to put some numbers in there?
Yeah. So motion is in order for 3,200 going towards the services purchased from SMART for shuttle services, and 6,050 of the remaining municipal or community credits going to Richmond Lennox EMS, and then the 5,709 municipal credits, all of them to Richmond Lennox EMS.
So moved.
Support. It's been moved and supported with all those numbers. Clerk, what's that? You got it all?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Capoli?
Yes.
Trustee Hatcher?
Yes.
President Bison?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, sir. All right. Next up is item A, scheduling the, or I'm sorry, now it's B. That's going to throw me off the rest of the night. Scheduling the CDBG Community Public Service Funding. So we need to do a public hearing. Clerk, what's that? I think we probably undercovered.
Yeah, historically, we've done it before the January meeting, so we want to do it, February meeting. We want to do it February 13th at 6:30.
Yeah, and I have seen them actually, normally we get some notice about what the CDBG funding is. I haven't seen
I
it.
had asked for it,
Okay.
and it came later, so it's not included in the packet. This year, we get, New Haven, the total allotment is 3,400. Service funds are 2,750. And then all of the breakdown, who's requesting what will be in the packet next month with the public hearing.
February 11th. Yep, February 11th, before the February council meeting. Oh, yeah. In the executive summary, it does say February 13th.
It's the 11th.
Yeah.
At 6:30, you said?
Yes. If that's council's wish.
Everybody good with that? 2024, 2025 budget amendments, second quarter.
Hold on, you gotta make a motion to schedule the
Oh,
public hearing.
I'm sorry, yeah, public hearing, that's more formal.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Schedule the public hearing for February 11th at 6:30 for CDBG funding.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we actually schedule a meeting for February 11th at 6:30 p.m. Roll call, or I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item number C, 2024, 2025 budget amendments, second quarter, Ms. Casey.
I did budget amendments. What entails in the budget amendments that I did was the contract ratifications. We had a change for Gatsby 87. Basically what it did was change expense accounts over for our rental agreement for the thing. So our rent here went from account from 943 to 991. So I had to change the budget from one account to the other in all our funds. And I had to reclassify it. That's all that entailed too. I had upped on the general fund interest income. I forgot that we were getting tax money, so that's why that was a big thing, like $53,000, I increased that in. Building revenue is down. I was anticipating that we had Redwood and Haven Ridge, excuse me, come into play for our revenue for the building department. That has not come to it. I don't think it's gonna hit this fiscal year, so I decreased that. I transferred funds from major to local, $400,000 into the little fund that we just did, so we have to get that over, that $400,000 over there. And that's basically all that was going on with all the changes. I did a couple of little maintenance expenses. I think there was some things on the fire department, annual like uniforms, so I had to up his uniform allowance and stuff like that. So that was some of the things that the budget amendments entailed. I am asking for budget amendments to be approved. We are increasing the revenue by $455,938 and increasing expenses at $549,655.80. And that change, increase of our expenses is $93,717.80. Most of that is the salaries that happen in the contract ratifications and increasing basically operating supplies and maintenance and stuff like that that happen during the year. Any questions?
Any questions?
I'll move to approve the budget amendments as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the budget amendments as they were presented. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Polly?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Hashem?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
President Maeson?
Yes. Item number D, 2025-2026 budget review.
I did a first run through on the budget. I'm presenting tonight so that we can get a Ways and Means Committee set up. We have a meeting for that. So that we can have a budget in place before the fiscal year end. Our fiscal year end for new people is March 31st. So we have to have a budget in place by March 31st. So I'm presenting this budget to everyone to look at, and if anybody has any questions, I can go over it tonight. But as I said, this is the first run through. Of course, we're going to go through the Ways and Means to make sure that we're picking stuff up. I didn't put anything capital improvement, so we had to figure out that. So the roads, I didn't put, we kept the, what's those trucks called? I don't know what excuse me, the plow trucks. I left it in this budget, and I kept it in the next budget, because they said we were supposed to get our plow trucks the first quarter. I don't know what's going on with that. Revenue was up. It's been running 10 to 11% of all the fund for taxes. So I increased all the revenue portion of the taxes up. I inputted the wage increases would be for the next year. So stuff like that doesn't happen. We had an instance where the contract for the sheriff might increase. We got news for that. I did not put that in. So there's a couple of things that I'm going to have to input in by the time we get this budget in place. As you know, this is a guess, and we will figure out. I have to have my line items 10 to 11% for us to be not get nicked by yo-yo. But anyways, can I have a Ways and Means meeting, please? That's what I'm here for review.
In addition to Ways and Means, don't we normally have a budget workshop anyways with the entire council?
Yeah.
Well, we can do that, whatever, yeah, budget, Ways and Means, either or, whatever you want to decide to call it.
Yeah. So I know we have the Lions Club on January 28th at 6 p.m. Do we want to do the budget workshop after that?
Well, how long will we stay over there? We can do that.
So I figure we probably aren't going to spend more than a half hour, I would imagine, at the Lions Club, right? I don't know if there's that much stuff to talk about at the Lions Club.
There hasn't been much talk about it anyways.
So why don't we do a budget workshop back here at 6:30 on January 20th? Well, you weren't gonna be able to come, are you? No.
That's fine.
You sure?
I'll just ask Marcus.
It would be so sad to miss it.
Yeah.
Just invite Marcus over for dinner and interrogate him.
There you go. All right, so we'll do the budget workshop on January 28th at 6:30. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Gaisel? All right, thank you. Next up, item number E, D&J contracting catch basin approval. Marcus, did you wanna?
Yeah, I will. We had previously got the catch basins approved. This was in August for D&J to go out and do some catch basins and culverts. And during that time in between, before they came, there was two items that came up. There was one on Haven Ridge and Elk that I saw, so I added in, and there was one on 27 Mile in Gratiot. So those two that I added in. You know, while they're coming out here, might as well knock those out. Those were actually in dire need of repair too, so.
Yeah, so the additional catch basin work was $7,285. It would be a change of $7,285 additional to D&J. So it was what's labeled as page 3 in the agenda packet, or 136 on the packet. Depending on which page number you're on.
So you're looking for a motion for this $7,285?
Yeah, looking for a motion for an additional $7,285. Yeah, so it was Elk and Haven Ridge complete failure for the $5,145, and then over by Rite Aid, 27 Mile, Clark, partial failure, $2,140.
And we had to do every one in the village, right?
No, we haven't touched it.
We still got.
I'll tell you right now, I was gonna ask a question because Amherst has some issues. Brian and I have been talking the whole Christmas break, and there's some issues over there. So we did, what it is that when you do the ones that complete failure or partial failure, that doesn't mean the other ones stop failing. And then as time goes, you gotta do those. And East Brockton, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we were talking about like left and right, we jetted it, vectored it, jetted it, vectored, and bricks are just, the mortar is just, it was, I'm not gonna say shiny work, actually. It was not good, not constructive. So, do we, in saying that, do we wait till we eventually do those streets? I wouldn't, because if your infrastructure fails, the street's gonna fail you quicker. So, let's handle this and then we can talk. I can have every catch basin in the village inspected, but I'm trying to do them as they need repair, because if you just did them all at once, especially Trustee Coley, he's gonna faint with that breaking an arm to you.
Well, so I've been thinking over here, I want to know, what do we need if we wanted to bring this work in-house for us to do it?
For us to do it?
Yeah. Because I'm looking at, just since I've been at council, looking at some of the numbers, we could almost justify buying another person in the DPW.
As long as they have that skill set.
Yeah.
Right.
So, if we bring a person on board, that can, or even train our existing personnel to be able to do that. We're almost at a point now where it might be worth it financially.
Yeah, that's something.
We do this a couple times a year, I'm looking at the numbers on it, and I'm going, man, we spent a lot of money on catch basin
Yeah, and I know, Marcus has been systematically going around the village and doing, the sections. I think we've gone through Decor Park, we've gone through Rooney, gone through.
Or not Old Pembroke, but the first Pembroke, I don't know Old Pembroke, because we had new Pembroke.
Did we already go through Amherst once, or no?
We went through, the failures, but I try to keep it light, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. So now we're having issues, with some of those. Before they weren't bad, so. But what, I'm gonna be honest, what's happening is, present day now, if you do a precast, basement, and you put it in the ground, and they did all this brick and mortar stuff that isn't worth it. So even if we did it, they're just gonna fail. They need to be precast structures put in the ground, done correctly. And that's the issue, because it wasn't done that way, and it should have been done that way to begin with. The mortar with the acidity and everything of the soil and the water, it's just gonna wear out, so you just buying time, so,
Yeah, so we already have the previous page, D and J, where it was Bennett, Lutz, Willard and Lutz, Lincoln and Lutz. Those were already approved last year. And so it's just the additional $72.85 for Alka Haven Ridge and Rite Aid. One partial and one complete.
Is there any feasibility to doing it in-house, Rosemary?
I don't have enough guys to do that, no. If we're doing it in the summer, there's no grass to be cut. We need at least 3 people to do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't do this and do it in-house, I'm saying we should start thinking about
Yeah.
that and planning, okay, if this is gonna be a reoccurring thing going on, we should start considering being able to do it, but not, I think we should do this now.
Well, I think when D and J is doing it, they are doing the precast.
No,
They're not.
no, because you would have to carry the whole thing out. These numbers would be.
Oh,
better
they're not.
numbers, yeah. Yeah, they would have to carry the whole structure out. So they're just going in, partial failure, new brick and mortar, probably a couple courses. Complete failure, they're going down. But yeah, to take it all out and do a precast, that's why I was saying with Amherst, if we're starting to do these streets, it's gonna, cost, but you do it once and
Right.
what it is, the soil or whatever over there, it's gonna move. And if it's not precast, it's just gonna break apart. Yeah. So, that's why I'm asking if when we do the streets in the future, do we say, okay, let's dig these out and do the precast and put them in? While we're doing it, as part of the roads, cement. It's a thing, but it's gonna, now we're, instead of taking out a square, we're gonna be taking out an area, but, for those roads, we're gonna be taking out areas anyway, especially in Amherst.
And the issue with the replacement of structures, current prices is anywhere between 8 to 10 per structure. Now that's just a brand new structure, and now you have to add the cost to remove and restore. So you're looking anywhere between like 15, 16.
Well, right now, we're paying $5 just to maintain them each time.
But again, that's the economy of scale that, they're not, that price would not be for one structure. It would have to make sense for a contractor to come in for work for a month to give you that price. For one, just one, I would say it's gonna go 20 or 25.
Yeah, if we were replacing the entire structure, we probably would want to do like a whole bathroom.
But if it's gonna last longer, it's better
Right.
investment.
Yeah. If we're doing the streets, and each street is gonna have 2, 3, 4 on it.
Right.
Then it would make sense.
Especially in Amherst where we're taking it all the way down to Dagger.
Right.
Exactly.
We're going deep anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The lack thereof. Yeah, all right, so the motion requested tonight is for the 7285 additional work for D&J.
So moved.
We have a motion,
Support.
we have support. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, roll call please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Cashel?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Pepoli?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes. That takes us to the end of new business. All right, call from the floor.
Just a question. The meeting for the January 28th, that's open to the public? Your half an hour meeting? Might take me half an hour to get done. The other, D&J is the one that did the catch basin? Please tell them to come pick their cones up.
Cones up, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other public comment? All right. Call from the table. All right. Motion move.
Support.
All right. Meeting adjourned at 8:12 p.m.